Hey everybody, thanks for watching and joining me today. We're going to be looking at this button here that is fixed to the bottom right of the screen. And when you click it, it's going to pop up a Bricks pop-up template. And inside I've got a contact us form. And when you click this close button, it's going to shrink it back down. So this is using the Bricks pop-up template. There are no third-party requirements or other plugins you need. This is all with vanilla Bricks. So you don't need any extra tools to do this. This is all out of the box. Another great thing is if you hit the tab key and focus on the button, hit enter, it'll pop it up, hit escape, and it'll close it. So you've got a full keyboard accessible component here. And we're gonna build this whole thing today. The majority of the video is spent styling this pop-up and all of the different nuances of the pop-up template. Then we're going to jump into the interactions that are required to make the buttons run the JavaScript that pops the form open and closed. So if you are not interested in the styling and the structure, you can always skip ahead. I will add chapters to the video so that you can see the interactions and how to set that up too. All right, let's dive in. Okay, here's the game plan. We're going to create a pop-up template to store the pop-up, and you need to set the template type to pop-up. It's very important. We're going to style the pop-up contents, and this is going to take the longest because there's a few nuances to the pop-up that you have to mess around with and style to get it to do what you want it to do in our use case. We're going to set the template to apply globally, and then we're going to create a page, and we're just going to use this page that will contain the pop-up trigger, which is going to be the little icon down in the bottom right. And then we're going to set up our interactions to trigger the pop-up to open and close. All right, so let's go create that template. Jump back to the admin. Go to Bricks and Templates. And then we're going to add a new template, and this is going to be our form pop-up template. That's good. Form pop-up template. Head over to the template type and select pop-up. That's the most important part here. You don't want to use a single or a section. You want this to be a pop-up. And click publish. Let's edit with Bricks and start building this out. Okay, so what I've done here is added the items to the structure panel, and I'll go over it so you don't have to sit and watch me add these and type the classes out, but we'll go over them quickly. Basically, you've got an outer div wrapper that's going to contain all the pop-up items, and then we're going to have inside that two more divs, a close button, and then the contents of the form and the heading, essentially. So this is the form and heading here. Inside the close button wrapper, we just have an icon. And inside the form and heading, we're going to have the heading wrapper and the form wrapper. Inside the heading wrapper, we've got an icon and a heading. Inside the form wrapper, we've got a form. So let's expand all of these out so that you can see them. And I'll zoom in on this so you can see how everything's set up. But we're just using divs, icons, headings, and forms pretty much. Okay, let's get to styling. What you need to know before we start styling is there are multiple places you can style a Bricks pop-up. So let's go look at those. I am not going to style this item right here. That's the content. I'm going to style the pop-up itself, which is a template in the settings. So click the gear icon and then go to template settings and then pop-up. The first thing we're going to do is change the backdrop. So that's this gray here. I'll make it very apparent. You can see that's what we're changing, and we're going to change that to transparent and just have no color. And then the next thing we're going to do is make the width auto and the height auto so that it's just kind of conforming to the contents of this div right here. This is going to control how tall and wide everything is, and then the template is going to conform to that. So again, that's in template, the gear icon, template settings, pop-up. And then you can have some other settings here. We're not going to use them, so I'm not going to go over them, but there are some other settings here, like the interactions, exit intent, pop up after a certain time. One other thing we will do is set the main axis and cross axis so that it's the bottom right. Isn't that cool? So you can like set it in the center, but we're going to do bottom right so that this form is kind of over on the right where your message button's going to be. And that's how we're going to control that positioning of the template itself. And then we can change the styles in the structure panel for the elements. So that's confusing, but that's how it works, and it actually kind of makes sense. But let's dive into styling all the items. So the first thing we're going to do is style the outermost wrapper, and we're going to give this a display flex and make this a flex column. And then let's align things to the right. So that's going to put everything aligned right. So this is going to be aligned right, and this is going to be aligned right. And I think that's all we need for now. We might adjust this later, but I think that's all we're going to do. And hit save. Let's go and start messing around with our close button. It's next up. And what I want to do is change this to display flex. And yeah, I could have used blocks here. I think blocks are set to display flex, but I'm using divs and hard coding this myself. You can set that up however you want in your theme settings, but I'm just going to override most of my divs and make them flex box. Okay, so we're going to make that display flex, and then we're going to change this to a custom button because that's what it is. This is a button, and hit save. And then let's go give this some width and height by going to the layout and say 65 by 65. Hop back over to content and let's center these, not this one, not align self. Let's center the main axis and center the cross axis here so that our icon is nice and centered. Let's see, the background with a button is kind of this gray color, but let's make it, I think, transparent. Nope, let's do like a dark color. Let's do this dark base color here. And then let's go to the border and give a border radius of 50%. Or if you're using automatic CSS, you can do circle. I think maybe radius 50 or circle will work. I'm just going to stick with 50% for now. And let's add a, I don't think we need a border, just make the border radius 50%. And I think that's all we need to do there. What's nice about Advanced Themer is you can right click and go to Style Overview and then look at all the different styles that you put on this thing, and it's all right there. And you can even change them right here. So if I wanted to change that to something else, I can. If I want to change different breakpoints, I can. If I want to clear it out, I can. This is a really cool feature with Advanced Themer, and it's saving me a lot of time. And it just gives you this really nice idea of what you've just done. Also, no styles on the ID. Super cool. All right, let's go make this icon white. And it's kind of large, so I'm going to make it 35. Maybe 40. Sure, we can change this later if we don't like it. Oh, look at this. So Advanced Themer saved the day. You see this red bar right here? It says, hey, you accidentally styled your ID. So let's clear that out and select our class instead because we don't really want to style our ID. So let's go back and fix that. Thank you, Advanced Themer. I do that all the time where I just forget to click the class. All right, I think that's looking good. Let's go down to we have the form and heading wrapper. I don't know what styles we'll need here. So we're gonna jump around, but try to go in order. I'm gonna do this last so that we can start to see what's going on. So with our form heading wrapper, I'm gonna jump down there and give this a background color of that same dark color here. And it looks like there's already some typography styles there, so I'm gonna clear that out. And then make this heading wrapper display flex, and then flex row, and then let's align everything to the left, and then center. Oops, nope, that's not what I want. We want to align the cross axis in the center and the main axis to the left. And then also while we're here, let's give it some column gap of medium, just like that. I think that's gonna look okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pop over to the icon and the heading and change these to white just so we can see them. Color, white, typography, white. Okay, so we can see that a little better. Let's jump back up to the wrapper and say layout, padding. Let's do a medium padding all the way around. To me, that looks a little too big. Let's drop that down to small and link that. Okay, that looks a little better. I think we're gonna have to move this up a little bit here in a second, but we'll come back to that. The form wrapper I think is next. We've got everything here looking good. Let's go to the form wrapper and let's just add some padding there, and watch this. This will kind of make it look nice. It'll kind of add some padding there, give us a little bit of room. Yeah, and then let's mess with the form a little bit too and come in and say our field typography is going to be that dark blue color. Yep, so we can see that good. And then let's make our labels placeholder typography, that dark color too. And then let's give the borders of the field boxes here. Let's do one all the way across, and then color, dark color. That just, makes them kind of stand out a little bit. Okay, so that looks pretty good. The submit button is still yellow. Let's come over to submit button. Let's make this 100%. And then give the typography that same blue, color blue. You can do whatever you want. I'm just gonna stick with this here, and then the background, let's do blue. Change this back to white. Like so. All right. Doesn't look terrible. Let's go to not the outermost wrapper, but the form and heading wrapper here, so you can see that it's this. And let's add some box shadow. And do, 10 blur, 15 spread. And then let's do this base color, and then come down to this just kind of light base trans 10. It's just a light version of that base color, 90% transparent, I think. That's spreading a little too much. Let's go and do that to, 5. That looks a little better. 7, blur of 7. Yeah, that's good enough. It looks good. So that's pretty much it. Let's move this close button. It looks way too large to me. Let's move it by giving it some margin of small. Just kind of bump it up a little bit. And then the width is gonna, let's drop it down to 55 and 55. And then change the icon size to be a little bit smaller. So you'll have to jump around here. Let's do 40. Man, Bricks Builder's come such a long ways. I love this builder so much. Like, this stuff just works. There's no lag, it just works. You can use your keyboard. All right. A couple other things you're gonna see is transparencies. And we'll explore that on the front end. So we're going to have to do some jumping back around, but you'll get the idea. I'm going to come back over to my page here. So we've done this. We're kind of done with this. We're like 95% done with this. We need to set the template to apply globally. So let's go do that. Gear icon. So I'm back on my pop-up template, gear icon. Template settings, conditions, and let's do entire website for now and click save. And the chat bubble will be applied across your entire site. The next thing we need is the page that will contain the pop-up trigger, and we need to build the pop-up trigger. I'm just going to use this page, but you can put it on any page you want to. So we are off of the template and we're on a page now. Just go look at that real quick. Go to my pages. This is the Bricks Navigator, really handy here. And I've got a page called Chat Bubble Page. You know, this is our form pop-up, whatever you want to call it. This is really what it is. It's our page for the form pop-up. And that's this right here. So it's a page that's going to have our trigger. So let's build that trigger. And to do that, let's do a div. Or if you have advanced themer over here, you can hit div right here and build that. I'm going to just put this at the very top right here for now. And this is going to be our pop-up trigger. And inside that, we're going to add an icon, which is right here. Super handy. Okay. So let's call this pop-up __ trigger. And this one, we're going to call this pop-up __ trigger icon. Okay. This HTML tag is going to be a button. So let's change that to a button because it's another button. And buttons have some kind of neat things that happen. You notice that the button isn't 100% width. It's kind of setting itself automatically there. So you get some benefits out of using a button. Let's come over to the icon and change it to an envelope. Let's not use Themify. Let's use Font Awesome. You can use whatever you want. Envelope is what I'm going to use. This one right here. Okay. Let's do the important part here, and that's going to be to position this thing fixed. So we're going to come over here and come to Style, and then go to Layout, and then Positioning. The other way you can do this is you can hit Search and type Positioning, and it'll show you that there. It's under the Layout section, Positioning, and we're going to do Fixed. And then we need to tell it where we want it fixed. So if we want it at the top by 25 pixels, down, and right 25 pixels, it's going to say 25 off the right, 25 off the top. That's not where I want to put it. I'm going to put it at the bottom, but you get the idea. So bottom, 25 off the bottom, and 25 off the right. So that's 25, 25. Perfect. Super easy. That's fixed positioning in a nutshell. You could fix this thing wherever you want it to. I'm going to keep it right there so that when you're looking at responsive, it's always just kind of there, 25 and 25 off. Okay, let's make this style similar to the pop-up form. So I'm going to give this a fixed width 55 by 55. And the background is going to be, I think the dark blue color again will work good here. And then we'll change the icon to a white color. White. That's really large. So let's do 45 pixels. And that still looks really large. Let's make our trigger bigger. Let's make it 75 by 75. Looking pretty good. And while we're here, let's go make the border radius 50% all the way across. And center this thing up so that we are in the middle here, like so. So align main axis and cross axis in the center. And now we've got our button. Okay. So we've got a page that will contain the pop-up trigger, and now we need to add an interaction to the trigger, the pop-up. So this is not difficult at all. You click the element, you come over here and click this interaction button. And let's add a new interaction, and we're gonna do a click. We're gonna do show element, and we're gonna target the pop-up. That's why we need to make that template a pop-up template, because then you can select your pop-up template. And I called this the pop-up form template. So let's choose that one. If you had other ones, you could pick that one. And I think it should work for the most part, but you'll start to see some of the CSS bugs here. So let's click it. Okay. So the first thing that I see is some transparency issues on the wrapper. And then this button doesn't do anything because there's no interaction. So we need to fix some styling, and it's, bear with me, we're gonna have to fix all this, and it's not the easiest, but we'll get it there. And then we'll go add this interaction there. So I think what we want, I'm gonna inspect this here. And this bricks pop-up content, let's do background color transparent. I think that fixed a lot of it. Now everything's transparent, so we can fix that, but we need to go add this, and I don't know if we can do this in the settings. We might have to write some custom CSS. So I'm gonna grab that just in case for later, but let's go try to see if we can do it in the form template. To see if we can fix that issue there, because I don't like that. So let's go to the pop-up template, go into settings, go to pop-up, and let's see if there is any. So there's the backdrop, the content. Let's see if we can do, if this will fix it. I think it will. So there's green. Let's just drop this down to transparent, and hopefully that's gonna fix it. Refresh, and yes, that's gonna fix it. Now we need to go fix this to have some background around it so that we don't see through it. And that's easy to fix. Let's just go back to the pop-up, and I think it's going to be this whole form and heading wrapper. Let's do background here of white. So that's kind of tricky because we've got this whole pop-up, but we don't want this whole thing to be white. We don't want our close button to be white. We just want the form to be white. Save that and go look at what happened. See if that's right. That's looking pretty good. I think we should move this button up and over a little bit so it's not like sticking out there. I bet we could hide it on click, but for the sake of this demo, let's just move it a little bit. So we are, let's go into the settings. Let's go out of the interactions, and we're on the pop-up trigger button. So the outermost wrapper, and go down to the layout and where we have fixed positioning. Let's do right 50, bottom 50. And there's other ways we could hide this. I think we could probably say on click, we could hide element and then add another interaction to our close. But, you know, that's working pretty well. So next thing we need to do is add our other interaction to our close button. So that's not too hard. Let's go to our close button. Let's click our interaction. And on click, we are going to hide element, target the pop-up, pop-up form template. Super easy. And it's fairly intuitive. You know, it took me a while to figure it out, but what your trigger is, we're going to click it. What the action is, we want to hide the thing. What we want to hide is a pop-up, and then which pop-up, because we could have multiple, but this one. And hit save. So now we've got pop open, pop closed, pop open, pop closed. Okay. Can we make this smoother, like that opening and closing smoother? I think so. All right, so we're learning together today. What I found out was you're going to use, instead of these click triggers here, so let's just look at our button here that's going to show it. So I have a click trigger here that says start animation, fade in and up. And then I have a click trigger here that says show element. Let's just get rid of that. So sorry, if you want animation, this is how you have to do it. If you don't want animation, you can just say show hide. But this is basically show hide, but with animation. So I'm going to do a new click trigger, and I'll just start from scratch. Add a new click trigger on click, and we're going to do start animation. Animation is going to be fade in up 0.5 seconds. The target is a pop-up form template. Save. Now let's go to the close button and just go ahead and do it while we're here. Get rid of that. Let's add one here. So we did have on click to show hide element, but now we're going to upgrade that with something better. Start animation. Animation is fade in down 0.5 seconds. Let's give it just a 200 millisecond delay and see what happens. All right, so this should fade in and up. Boom. Oh, that's dumb. Let's fix that. All right. Oh, target was self. Let's do pop-up. Form pop-up template. Let's see it one more time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're done. Okay. Pop open. That doesn't, what is it doing? Fade, let's do fade out down. Fade out down. Fade out down, maybe. Fade up. Okay. We did it. My brain's getting tired. All right, what did we do? So on this click trigger, we did a entrance animation instead of show hide. And on this one, we did an exit animation to go down. And this one's to go up. And this one's to go down. So that's really important. So on our close button, I did fade out down. Let's pick something weird. Rubber band. See what happens. Open it up. See you later. Oh, it's just gonna stay there. Watch this. Let's see if we can do this while we're here. You know, this is bonus time for people that have stuck with me this long. This is actually what it looks like when I'm developing. I don't know what I'm doing. That's not true. I'm an expert. So let's do another one. So let's take the animation delay away, duplicate this. So we're going to click this one, and it's going to run for 5 seconds. And then this one is going to be fade out down. And we're going to delay it for the same time as this one's going to run. So we're going to take that value, stick it over here, see what happens. Come on up. Oh, can it not do 2? Guess it can't do 2. Man, you should be able to do 2. I guess you can't. Be kind of cool if you like did this rubber band and then see you later and confuse everybody. Okay. I guess you can only do 1. So we're just going to leave it at fade out down. Let's do fade out down big just for fun. See what happens. Fade up. Boom. So that's really, that just makes it go faster. Big. It should say fade out faster, not fade out big. Fade out down. Just do it like that. And yeah, there you go. We've got it coming up. And then if you hit the escape key, it should go down. Only thing about the escape key is it doesn't run the animation. That kind of stinks. And there's no key down, so you couldn't do another one. But, you know, for the sake of accessibility, you know, we'll go with it. I think that's, you could probably do some custom CSS to get the same fade down on the escape key. I'm not going to mess with that today. So let's take a look at what we did. We made a pop-up template, and we set the template to pop-up. We added some contents in the pop-up, and we styled it for a really long time. We set the template to apply globally, and then we created a page, which is this page, and then we put this trigger right here on it. And for that trigger, we created a click interaction that said start animation, fade in and up for 5 seconds. Our target's the pop-up, and the pop-up form template is the individual pop-up. We basically went over and did the same thing on our template for the close button here and said where did it go? Come on, bricks. Kind of weird. Close button interactions. Like, where did the interaction go? Did I delete it? Anyways, we put a click interaction to start animation for fade out down for 0.5 seconds. Our target was the pop-up and the pop-up form template, and we hit save. And it should work. Okay, that's what we did. We also fixed position this thing. That's important. If you have any questions, this was a long tutorial, a lot of CSS styling. Let me know in the comments, reach out to me on Facebook, and I'll see, I'll do the best I can to assist. But now you should be able to save this under your templates, and all you got to do is bring the template for the pop-up on and then add this where you want to. And maybe you make this on every page. Maybe you make this into a template and apply that to every page. Maybe you put it in your footer template. Maybe you put it in your header template. I don't know. It's up to you. But you have the power to do it, and I hope you found value in this tutorial, and I will let you all go. Again, if you have any questions, drop them in the comments, and have a great rest of your day. Sorry for the troubleshooting on this animation. This is it was more complex than I think it should be. It would be nice to see some of these animations move over. I don't know where the best place to put them. I guess they're probably as good as you can get right now. But have a good rest of your day, and let me know if you want to see some specific tutorials like this one. All right, have a good one. Bye-bye.